Recording in progress.
Next part, difficult day, really for all of us, and one that I hoped would never happen. But you know, I just feel like change is necessary, and I'll get into that in a minute. But do want to say, like, you'll never hear me talk poorly about Coach Stock, kind of his accomplishments, his influence on our student athletes, our ability to work together. He was great in those areas, and so that won't happen. I just, if we got into this and we start looking, you know, and drilling down, what I've always tried to do is evaluate on conference to conference. And I think that's the most important thing to do is because those are your peers. That's what we're paid to do and keep people inside our conference. And really over the first decade or longer than that, Coach Stock had a really good record against the conference opponents. And then the last 5 years, we're below 500. We were 16-22 in conference. So this wasn't just this season. And I tried to emphasize that with the players a little bit when we met with them. It's just not this season that there's an erosion in our football program. We need to be better than 16-22 over the last 5 years inside our conference. And so we need to do better in a lot of areas. We need to do better administratively. We need to do better to provide more resources and those kind of things. So we're not sitting right here again in the near future. So we look forward to a new staff, a new head coach. But that's the main reason I think is the why. And that was it. And over that same time period, our overall was 26-32. And so it's really the last 5 years, and mostly it's the conference records. We do have contract obligations to coach, and we'll honor those. I think that his representatives probably talk to ours a little bit and see like, should it be paid out over time, or will it be better for both parties to agree on a loan settlement and those kind of things. So those kind of details will be worked out later. And just want to emphasize to the people out there that money for the buyout is being set aside. It was really with our conference realignment and the exit fees and the entrance fees and all the money that we collected due to realignment. We did put aside some of that for a rainy day fund. And so that'll be the fund that we're using to pay for the buyout. So there's not university dollars attached to the buyout. And so I think we're in good shape there. So I'll open it up for questions.
Can you talk about your meeting with him and how that went?
Yeah, I mean, it was hard. You know, he was a champ. He did a lot better than I did. You know, and so he was good. I think he kind of had an inkling that might be coming, you know, and so he was prepared, but obviously I think he still wants to coach, and he wanted to coach here and that kind of thing. So we've been together through a lot of ups and downs. So it was really amicable. He was a pro, as one would expect.
Most ADs have a lot of lists stuck in their desk somewhere. And as you get this process underway, what are the qualities and resume bullet points that you're going to be looking for?
Yeah, and I think that we don't want to lose what we have. You know, so obviously academics are really important and those kind of things. So we want to bring in a coach that feels like academics are important, but I don't have a preset offense, defense, head coach, assistant coach, any of those kind of things. But I do want a person that's got I think this department needs a little bit of over the top type personality. It's something that I don't possess. And I think it'd be great if our football coach possessed that, so we can go and I think one of the things is to kind of reconnect with our community and fan base and those kind of things. So I see this as an opportunity to build all those bridges.
You mentioned the record in the conference and overall the last 5 seasons, but Coach Stockstill signed the new extension before last season. Was this a decision that had been brewing, or was this a decision that you had made more recently?
Yeah, the extension was contract protected. It was in a contract. So if we won we won 8 games last year, so we got automatic extension. So you always kind of try to evaluate the football program, and I think what's happened here, and some of it's over time, that his windows of opportunity and chances got smaller as we went on, and in some ways you look at it, maybe we're competing against his own standards, and 8 wins wasn't good enough, or 7 wins wasn't good enough, and so we need to do better. We need to be at 10 and 12 and those kind of things. But I think it got more difficult. Through the course of this year, we talked, and it shouldn't be this hard. And so I don't think it's been brewing for a while. You always prepare for success, and you always keep all these contingencies in the back of your mind. But we went into this season really thinking we could win the championship. And I think that was the mindset of the coaches. That was the mindset of me. We felt good about it, and it just didn't work out that way.
Okay, we've got a few questions on Zoom. We'll get started with Cecil.
Hey, Chris.
Hey, Cecil.
I have to ask this question because I was told earlier today that this happened. It may sound outlandish, but I heard it was a complete cleaning house. All coaching staff, training, weight room, equipment staff. It was everyone, not just Coach Stockstill. Can you confirm or deny any of that?
No, I mean, we have several people that are still under contract, and some of our assistant coaches and those kind of things. I met with all those people to tell them about what happened with Coach Stock. But typically, Cecil, in these kind of situations, the new coach will decide kind of who the support staff is and those kind of things. So we have some really good people inside our football program. And I think there's elements of continuity that we want to keep. And so I've encouraged the coaches that it's an emotional day for them, and what we need to do is put our collective efforts together to make sure that the players finish the semester strong academically. My message to the players is that to prepare yourself for change. There will be change, and they have a right to be able to get into the transfer portal. And so that would represent change on their behalf. If they stay here, there'll be a new coaching staff, a new way of doing things. And so they need to be as well prepared for change as possible. So that means going to class, completing the semester strong, so there's not negatives going forward as they approach this change. But yeah, so no, that all those people are still here.
All right, also on Zoom, Corey Curtis.
Hey, Chris, and we all know how difficult winning sustained at this level can be. Why do you feel you're positioned, and what do you like about your program's position that
Welcome into a Monday Mirror edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. That was a little loud. And, well, what a Monday it is. We start there with Chris Massaro from Middle Tennessee State in a press conference where earlier today he announced – I'm sorry? That wasn't you? Okay. Uh, Earlier today, he announced the firing of Coach Rick Stockstill. And yeah, that's not the only coaching vacancy that we'll talk about today. We've got a lot of them. We've got a lot of great stuff coming on the show today. We have Terry McCormick, of course, with his Titans report a little bit later, and we've got just a ton more to talk about. But first and foremost, Mo, what's up?
It's been quite the Monday already. I mean, I guess we're going to kind of revisit what we just heard here at some point. And
Here in just a minute.
but like you said, that's not the only shoe to have fallen since the clock hit zero on a bunch of football games over the weekend.
Yeah, and it's tough, man. It's tough that, you know, to have to talk about the coaching carousel. Of course, you know, results driven business, and we all know that, but that doesn't mean that people aren't losing their livelihoods. And so we always try to be as cognizant of that as we possibly can here on the show. So plenty to talk about. We'll get to it here in just a moment. Before we do any of that, though, well, we need to, of course, go through the weekend's scores and today's schedule on the rundown.
This is the Rundown.
The Monday Rundown is brought to you by Zion Christian Academy. ZCA offers a faith-based, Christ-centered education in Murray County. Give them a call today at 931-388-5831 or visit zioneagles.org to schedule your appointment today. Zion Christian Academy, prepared for college, equipped for purpose.
High school football action on Friday. Alcoa punches its 9th straight ticket to this Blue Cross Bowl. I'm pretty sure it's 9, but I don't know. It's a lot.
It's a bunch.
38-7, the win over Giles County. Oakland with a 4th consecutive trip to Chattanooga. Well, to the Blue Cross Bowl, not to Chattanooga. 3 in a row to Chat, 4th at the Blue Cross Bowl as they down Bradley Central 38-17. Houston blanked previously unbeaten Brentwood 28-0. It was East Nashville 33, Dyersburg 19 for their 3rd straight trip. Page in their 3rd straight trip down south win 10-7. What a battle there. Pearl Cohn headed back to Chattanooga as well with a 48-20 win over Haywood, and East Robertson holds off a flurry in the 4th quarter from the Dragons of York Institute. 35-31, the final, their first trip to the state finals for East Robertson in school history. Girls basketball on Friday, it was Bradley Central 58, Stewart's Creek 23, Columbia Central 38-31 winners over Sycamore. Columbia Academy fell to Eagleville 64-43. Culleoka down to Whites Creek 31-27, and Lebanon was a 56-48 winner over Westmoreland. It was Forest 45, Maplewood 23, Smith County 59-23 winners over Laverne. Brentwood 64, Webb School 44, and Upperman 53, Wilson Central 29.
MTSU coaches Rick and Matt Insel on hand for that Brentwood Webb game, by the way.
What a game it was.
Yeah. On Saturday, girls action. Lebanon defeated Brentwood 54-39. It was Columbia Central with a 40-28 win over Hillsborough. Forest edged Columbia Academy 41-40. Culleoka with a 67-29 win over Maplewood. Sycamore defeated Eagleville 50-46. It was Oakland 53, Ezel Harding 34. Jellicoe with a 58-43 win over Laverne. Lipscomb Academy down Westmoreland 46-42. McMinn Central 79, Stewart's Creek 27. Webb School with a 51-45 win over Nolansville. Marshall County defeated Whites Creek 40-6, and Wilson Central with a 67-64 win over Red Boiling Springs. In boys basketball action on Friday, Laverne defeated Forest City of Arkansas 67-62. Lebanon 79, Clarksville Northeast 44, Oakland 72, Stewart's Creek 54, Hope Prep 97, Wilson Central 54. Providence Christian with a 78-46 win over Livingston Academy. It was Cannon County 60, Rockvale 46. Brentwood Academy with a 56-43 win over Siegel. And Brentwood defeated Upperman 56-42.
On Saturday, Laverne fell to Jonesboro, Arkansas, 52-46. It was Lipscomb Academy 72-47 winners over Lebanon. Providence Christian 68, Cannon County 42. Siegel down Livingston Academy 67-55. Was Brentwood Academy 87-62 over Stewart's Creek. Columbia Academy with a 75-58 win over Trinity Christian, and Upperman edges Wilson Central 55-53. College football action on Saturday. It was Sam Houston 23, Middle Tennessee State 20. Tennessee doubles up Vanderbilt 48-24. New Mexico State kicks a field goal at the buzzer to beat Jacksonville State 20-17. And in FCS playoff action, Chattanooga also kicks a field goal at the buzzer to beat Austin Peay 24-21. Men's basketball action over the weekend. North Carolina State an 84-78 win over Vanderbilt. Mercer edged Tennessee State 60-59. It was Lipscomb 86, North Carolina Asheville 75. Monmouth down Belmont 93-84. It was Illinois Chicago 70-40 winners over MTSU. Tennessee State then down to Southeast Louisiana 91-77. Ohio with an 80-68 win over MTSU as well. Belmont in overtime gets past Penn 84-79. It was Bowling Green 82, Lipscomb 61. MTSU bounced back on Sunday with a win over Missouri, Kansas City 63-59. Belmont did the same with a win over Lafayette 79-69. Appalachian State 78-58 winners over Austin Peay. Lipscomb downs Wofford 85-78. Fisk with a pair of wins over the weekend, downing Bethel 90-83 and Life 77-70. Cumberland splits with Arizona Christian, number 4 in the country, 103-60. The loss there for the Phoenix, but they bounce back, rise from the ashes, if you will. 72-70 win over Columbia International to close the weekend.
Also, Vanderbilt lost to Arizona State 82-67 out in Vegas after that NC State game. And that wasn't the worst thing that happened for the Commodores this weekend. Women's basketball action. Indiana with a 71-57 win over Tennessee. William and Mary defeated Tennessee State 63-53. Austin Peay with an 78-63 win over Missouri, Kansas City. Vanderbilt women down Iowa State 68-53. Belmont with a 83-61 win over Northwestern. Austin Peay defeated Chicago State 60-49. Vanderbilt also defeated Northern Illinois 68-64. It was Tennessee bouncing back from that loss to Indiana to defeat Oklahoma 76-73. Tennessee State winning with a 53-43 win over Bryant, and MTSU goes on the road and picks up an 81-74 win at Southern Illinois Edwardsville on the ice. Tell you who's not cold. The Predators.
Hot as they get.
Defeated the Blues of St. Louis 8-3. Defeated the, what is Winnipeg?
Jets.
Jets. 3-2 over Winnipeg. The Predators have now won 5 straight.
Count.
5. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Predators. Conversely. In the association, it was Phoenix 110, Memphis 89, Minnesota 119, Memphis 97. And in the National Football League, Titans 17, Carolina 10. And apparently, when you lose to the Titans, bad things happen.
Apparently.
We'll get to that later. High school basketball tonight, 6 o'clock tips, doubleheaders. Santa Fe is at Cascade. Murfreesboro Central goes to Community. Creekwood hosts McKenzie. Summit is at Fairview. Grace Christian hosting Spring Hill. Joe Burns goes to Greenbrier. Mount Pleasant is at Hampshire. And I think that game is actually going on right now. I think that's an in-school game. Tipped at 1.
Good for them.
Yeah. Rossview is at Hendersonville at 6. Huntland hosts Culleoka at 6. Trousdale County goes to Merrill Hyde. And Gordonsville is at Watertown. Girls only. Smith County is at Lipscomb Academy. That's a 6 o'clock tip. Boys only at 6 o'clock. And this is interesting.
I was going to say, there's a game that's not on this list that we can talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. Westmoreland boys play at Hunter's Lane at 6 o'clock. It's a boys only game. And it features, though the coaches may not necessarily want to phrase that way, but it features the only 2 women coaching boys basketball teams in the state of Tennessee at the high school level. Cherie Abner for Westmoreland, Katrina Carter for Hunters Lane. So I don't know if that's happened before,
But it's
but it's happening tonight.
It's happening tonight, and you should go see it if you have a chance.
Yeah. Also, Lipscomb Academy is at Columbia.
That's, again,
Check your local listings, and we should be your local listings, and that's news to me.
Smith County is at Lipscomb Academy. Girls, my guess is Smith County boys probably weren't scheduled because they thought they might be practicing for football.
Maybe.
And so I don't know.
Lipscomb Academy, according to this, is at Columbia Central at 7:30 tonight. We will get back with you on that. Also, Lighthouse Christian is at East L. Harding in a boys-only game at 7 o'clock. And then women's collegiate basketball action, 6 o'clock tip. Fisk is at Lindsey Wilson. And that is your rundown.
Our top story is brought to you by Piggly Wiggly Neely's Mill Shopping Center in Columbia. Make sure to go by and see them if you need your lunch specials. They've got meat, vegetables, cobblers, and you can make do with it what you will. However you want to make your plate. It's up to you. But all of that is available, as well as fresh hand-cut meats daily and more at Piggly Wiggly Neely's Mill Shopping Center. Our top stories, of course, Rick Stockstill, no longer coaching at Middle Tennessee State after 18 seasons.
18 seasons, 113 and 111.
113 and 111.
4-8 this year.
And man, that's tough.
And how many one-score losses did Chip say?
A bunch. I mean, you're talking about a top 15 team in the country you lost to by a score. But you also lost to two teams who were transitioning from FCS to FBS.
Yeah.
So it's like, what, huh?
And, I thought Chris Massaro, as we had him at the top of the show, made an interesting point. This wasn't just about this year.
And it couldn't be, but I think that this year probably had to kind of be the straw that broke the back, because you can't go 4-8 in this iteration of Conference USA. Not coming off an 8-win season in the previous iteration of Conference USA.
Right.
And so, I understand losing some assistant coaches off of a very
5 one-score losses.
Sheesh. I mean, that's 9 wins. If they just go the other way.
23-19 at
And
Missouri.
a win over Missouri.
Yeah. Well, and I think sometimes that's what gets lost. Middle beat Miami at Miami last year and got a lot of mileage out of that win from a notoriety standpoint, but they turned around and lost their next 2 games in conference. And when it comes right down to it, speaking as an MTSU alumnus, I would rather beat the teams we're supposed to beat. I would rather play for and win conference championships. Nobody expects us to go to Miami and win. Nobody expects us to go to Alabama and Missouri and win. It's nice to go there. It's nice to compete.
Get the check.
Well, beyond the finances of it, it's nice to go there and compete, but I think most people would rather play for championships in the league that we're in than jump up and beat a Power 5 team every now and then and go 6-6.
Absolutely.
So,
which, I mean, last year they went 8-4 with that win, and which, as you heard, triggered an automatic extension. And if all of those one-score losses except Missouri go his way, it's an automatic extension. And I guess were 4 of those conference losses?
no, 3 of them were.
3
because they lost 31-23 to Colorado State for homecoming.
That's right. Okay.
Lost 35-42, 42-35, excuse me, at Liberty. 13-7 at New Mexico State and 23-20 at Sam Houston. So 3 of them were on the road.
But they would have been 6-2 and in the conference championship game because one of those one-score losses was to New Mexico State, which would have given them the tiebreaker over New Mexico State, and they would be playing Liberty for a conference championship on Saturday if those 3 one-score losses go the other way.
Mm-hmm. Liberty, who you lost 242-35.
Another one-score loss.
Yeah. So you feel like you've got a shot second time around.
Sure. And I mean, to me, you know, in this iteration of Conference USA, you've got to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought what I found most interesting from that press conference was Massaro's saying that, you know, we need somebody who's kind of an over-the-top personality, a guy who's going to energize the campus to get folks on, you know, inside Floyd Stadium. And, you know, him saying, look, that's not me. It's not who I am. Clearly. I mean, if you watch the press conference, you can see the guy. And
Chris is a super guy, but he's not
that guy. And that's fine.
And that's okay.
If you can find that guy. That being said, who is that guy?
It's a good question.
And I will be very curious to see what direction Chris Massaro takes with this coaching search.
Absolutely.
And I think he knows that it's probably the most important coaching search that he's going to have in his tenure.
I don't know how accurate that is.
You don't think so?
Given that you've got a Hall of Famer coaching your women's basketball program right now.
I didn't say, I said this is the most important search.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not higher. It's the most important search. My point is that he did a great job hiring Rick Ensel.
Mm-hmm.
But football's the bell cow. You just spent however many $1 million on a football facility.
Mm-hmm.
You can call it whatever you want. It's for football. The fact is, Middle Tennessee State has to make the right hire here, because if not, funding that football facility is going to be real tough, no matter how good your women's basketball team is.
Mm-hmm.
And if he doesn't get this one right, he'll be the next one. They'll be having a press conference announcing his termination.
Yeah, I get all of that. I'll be interested to see whether they go with somebody who's got some sort of ties to, if not the football program, certainly the area, or if they go clean slate entirely and bring somebody in that no one has any real familiarity with other than just the name. Because, I mean, I've kind of been kicking some names around in my head. I've been listening to some folks.
Bob Stoops is available. That's all I'm saying.
I just feel like one of the sub issues, I guess, if you go back to your high school English paper outlines, I think one of the sub issues here is the lack of local presence in the program from a talent standpoint, when the high school football talent in Middle Tennessee is at an all-time high.
Mm-hmm.
I went through their roster here a little bit ago, and I counted 15 guys on it from Middle Tennessee. They list in their preseason media guide 19 guys from Tennessee, and obviously it's a big state.
Yeah.
But
there are two other grand divisions to talk about.
There really are. But from Middle Tennessee specifically, and not all of these are scholarship guys, but they've got 15.
Is it 15?
Mm-hmm.
including one who may or may not be on the team,
Oh, wasn't on the roster. So
is on the team.
don't know. I wasn't on the roster.
Oh, that's right. He wasn't.
Mhm. Anyway, 15 guys with Middle Tennessee ties on an 84-player roster. So that's less than 20%. Now, I don't know what the number should be necessarily. I really don't. But I think it all kind of ties together, because if you've got local kids on the roster, local kids playing, then you're probably going to have a little bit more interest in the program, more butts in the seats, that kind of thing.
And oh, by the way, they're pretty good at it.
Georgia, 22.
Understandable.
Really though?
Georgia's the best high school out, well, maybe Florida, but in the Southeast, Florida and Georgia are probably 1A, 1B.
22 from Georgia, 14 from Florida.
You would think that you could be successful with that.
I think though, what gets me is when you look at comparable programs, Memphis, Charlotte, other mid-majors, if you would, that are coming into Middle Tennessee and recruiting kids that are going and having successful playing careers at those schools.
You can take losing guys to Tennessee, Vanderbilt, etc. You should not accept losing guys to Memphis, UAB,
I'm gonna just tell you something.
other AAC, CUSA schools.
I was at the MTSU game about 3 years ago when Chris Rowland went 97 yards up Middle Tennessee State sideline.
No reason he shouldn't have been in middle. Yeah,
And
absolutely.
there are a number of stories like that. I mean, I've got a good friend whose son was like a 3-year starter at Navy, I think, who played at Middle. That's where I met him, and never got a call. You know, different things like that.
Sure.
And again, when they're going and playing at comparable programs and being successful,
That's a problem.
And they, you're not going to get everybody you recruit. I get that. But to not recruit them is a concern.
Absolutely.
So
Not the only coach on the coaching carousel. We'll certainly be talking more about this coaching search as it continues. And of course, probably tomorrow with Chip Walters. So
I would dare say.
So more on that, but we will take a break. When we come back, Coaching Carousel continues. So stick around. Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. It's back after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mockingbird Title and Escrow is an attorney-owned and operated full-service title company in Middle Tennessee. We get your deals closed without worry and fuss. We're a family business that offers the highest level of expertise in our industry when it comes to closing and funding your real estate transactions.
And it's a job I really love. I'm passionate about this. I'm enthusiastic about this. I like to think we're pretty well-rounded and can deal with a wide range of needs and a wide range of clients.
Call 615-274-8698 today.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint, live from the Lee Company studio. Chris Yao, Maurice Patton. A lot of names on the coaching carousel. Mo, let's stay in the state real quick because it is now official. Trey Lamb is taking over at ETSU following George Quarles' dismissal.
That was quick. That's impressive that they were able to get it done that quickly.
And a guy who was coaching on Saturday in the FCS playoffs.
And where was he?
Gardner Webb. So he comes from Gardner Webb to ETSU.
Now, he's Bobby Lamb's son.
He is.
Who was at Mercer, among other places? Right.
Yeah, which is ironic because Mercer's who beat them on Saturday. Yeah.
He's not still at Mercer, is he?
No. But
Trey wasn't the head coach at Gardner Webb, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, was he? Oh, wow. Okay. So good for them.
So he will come to ETSU. Obviously was a consideration at Tennessee Tech, was a name that had been thrown around. Obviously.
Yeah, I believe he had been on, well, he coached them with OC at Tech.
He was. But as I tweeted, they just fired an alumnus, so I'm not sure how high on the list they are for alumni at this point. And so Lamb was also considered at West Georgia over in Carrollton. So
D2, right?
Yeah, they were Gulf South. I think they're making the move up to FCS, but I'm not sure what conference they're going into. But them and West Florida and a bunch of those Gulf South teams that are moving that allowed Tribeca to get in.
Right.
But yeah, so Tennessee Tech and West Georgia had him on their list, but quickly ETSU snatches him up. So big get for them. Congratulations to both the Bucks and to Trey Lamb. Feel like that's a good fit.
Yeah.
And before we get into major college football, you said it earlier. The Tennessee Titans defeated the Panthers yesterday and set in motion some other things, including Frank Reich being fired today.
Not just Frank Reich, but also quarterbacks coach Josh McCown and running backs coach Deuce Staley. Now, part of the part of the narrative for Frank Reich's departure or dismissal is that Bryce Young wasn't progressing the way they wanted him to as a rookie quarterback. Now, if that's the case, what did Deuce Staley have to do with it? Deuce out here catching strays.
Well, perhaps they felt like if the run game were better, then Bryce would be progressing more quickly. I don't know. He would have less pressure on him. That's all I got. But
it's as good as anything.
Did you see Bryce Young and Will Levis after the game on Sunday?
I saw them hugging, and it looked like they were talking a little bit.
Will Levis is a foot taller than Bryce Young. A foot. I'm so confused. Sorry, Bama fans. Bryce Young was the worst rookie quarterback chosen in the draft. And it's not because he's not talented. He's 5'9". The reason that
Drew Brees.
The reason they got rid of the guard who had not given up a sack all year
Because he was too
because
tall.
he was too tall.
Was he 6'7", 6'8", something like that?
Massive.
I mean, the guy that's with the Titans now.
They couldn't see. He couldn't see over him. And so, like, that's a problem when you've got to put Cade Mays in there and not, Cade was a great player at Tennessee, not going to block Jeffrey Simmons very much, as evidenced on Sunday. Poor guy got whipped all day. But got to play him because he's 6'3". That's a problem. And it has nothing to do with Frank Reich. That's not Frank's problem. Now, look, I'm not here advocating that Frank Reich shouldn't have lost his job, whatever. But I mean, crap, you gave the guy 11 games after having the number 1 pick in the draft last year. It's not like this team was ready for success. Defensively, they're great, by the way.
Well, I mean, you brought him in for a reason. You had a coaching vacancy for a reason, which now maybe you shouldn't have had a coaching vacancy. Maybe you should have kept Steve Wilkes
and let him go. But instead, they don't. And now they're $25 million in coaching buyouts.
That's gracious.
Plus whatever they got to pay the next guy. Matt Rule's still getting paid.
Calvin Throckmorton is 6'5".
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's still too tall, apparently. 5'9", much smaller than 6'5".
Much smaller than 6'3" also, but
it's still 2 more inches you got. And I guess from 7 yards deep in the backfield, 6'3" makes a difference. I don't know.
Man, that's tough.
Look.
And I mean, again, you feel sort of bad for Frank Reich. 11 games. I mean, dude, is that all you're going to give me? 11 games? I ain't even got settled into my house yet. But it kind of feels like a bit of karma for the Panthers again, because they had an interim guy that won 6 games last year.
Yeah, and that's not Frank's fault. Like, that's why I feel a little bad for Frank, because it's not Frank's fault that they hired him.
But no, but
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and once there was a vacancy, what is he supposed to do? Not turn it down? No, y'all need to go back and hire Steve Wilkes.
Right.
I mean, that's not the way it works, I don't guess. But still, it's just a bad situation over there.
It is. They're screwed, and they don't have.
They are a bad team in a bad division.
In a
the
worse
NFC South
situation.
is awful.
In a worse situation, they don't have a number 1 pick. They traded it to the Bears for Bryce Young.
So they got to figure it out on the fly.
They're screwed, is what they are.
With a new coach and a new quarterbacks coach. How do you that too? How do you change head coaches and quarterbacks coach but keep the same offensive coordinator?
It's a great question. Who's the coach? I've not seen a name.
Chris Tabor.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with him.
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I don't know the name at all. Arrived under Matt Rule.
What? Are you serious right now? This is
special teams coordinator.
This is silly. This is silly.
You know, things like
They
that
are literally
make you wonder just how serious the Carolina
they
Panthers
are
are.
unserious. This is an unserious franchise at this point. And you know why he's got the job, right? Because there's no way the special teams coordinator is going to be the head coach going forward.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about another Steve Wilkes.
Right. You know, you give it to that guy who's been here since, oh my gosh. Oh.
I don't know who the offensive coordinator is for this franchise.
I think it was Frank Reich.
Maybe it was.
So who's calling the offense?
I couldn't tell you.
I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Who is going to be the offensive coordinator? The person calling the offense
For Bryce Young.
Thomas Brown is the offensive coordinator now.
Was he? He might have always been the offensive coordinator. I'm not sure.
Yes. He was the tight ends coach for the Rams in 22. Coached running backs in 20 and 21. But there you go.
Okay, so
They don't have a running backs coach anymore.
Reich had been calling plays, ceded play calling duties to Brown for 3 games, then took them back. And as CBS Sports says so pointedly, Frank Reich fired by Panthers, but Carolina's owner David Tepper remains the bigger issue.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question there. This is nuts. Wow.
On Monday morning, the Panthers fired Frank Reich just 11 games into his tenure, but the Panthers really didn't have a Frank Reich problem. They probably don't have a Bryce Young problem. They definitely have a David Tepper problem.
That's 100%. Absolutely.
Goodness.
Oh, gosh. All right. Well. Oh, man. This is great. Oh, let's continue, shall we? Let's go into major college football because the Mark Stoops era at Texas A&M was over faster than the Kentucky Derby. I mean, the fastest 2 minutes in sports right there. Mike Price was at Alabama long.
Well, I mean, I went to bed Saturday night, and
he was the coach.
Was the coach at Texas A&M. I woke up Sunday morning, and he was not. And I'm like,
and he had not taken a trip to Pensacola.
I'm like, dude, right. I mean, dude, what did you do overnight to not be the coach? Well, turned out he didn't do anything.
Well, he did. He opened his mouth, apparently. Because he had been telling people, allegedly, per reports on, the internet.
Well, apparently he wasn't the only person telling
somebody, yeah, he wasn't the only one, sure.
Yeah,
but
so, I mean, I'm not sure that it was him telling people that caused him to not have the job, but it's wild.
Once the internet got a hold of it, it was over. And Texas A&M folks pulled on the anniversary of Shiano Sunday. Yeah, 2017, on the anniversary, overnight, pulled a UT. They did not paint any rocks or anything, but
well, only because they didn't have one.
Only because they didn't have one. That's right. So Mark Stoops, not the coach. It ends up being Mike Elko. And Elko, former defensive coordinator at Texas A&M, when they went 5-7.
Is Duke done? Is I guess regular season's over for everybody.
Regular season's over.
Yeah.
They'll have a bowl.
No, they'll have a bowl. Yeah.
But this is an interesting situation that, one, I'm surprised Elko took the job. After he's the narrative, the story out there is that Elko didn't interview very well. And so they went with Stoops. When Stoops had not been approved by the board and they saw the outrage from the general public, They said no to Stoops, and so they went with Elko. So if you're Elko and you know you're the second choice, I mean, do you just get out of Duke while you can?
I don't remember if we talked about this or if I meant to talk about it, but there are certain situations where, when you have some success at a place where success isn't necessarily sustainable, you better go. Second choice or whatever. Because.
But to go to Texas A&M right now in this SEC?
And in the next SEC.
Well, and here's the
but I mean, again, it's Texas A&M. Clearly, they are not averse to paying people money.
There's that. But I don't know if you saw my tweet about Mike Elko and his comments before he became Texas A&M's coach.
I did not.
Guy who trashes NIL goes to a place with largest NIL.
Well, I mean, if you're a Duke, you're going to trash the NIL. How much NIL money you think they got in Durham?
Oh, all they got's going to hoops. Anything they got ain't going to football.
So there you go.
No, I understand that, but it's like, come on, man. You're trash NIL, then you're going to go to the place with the highest NIL budget on earth. What? Come on, man.
Oh, now you're concerned with optics. Now you're concerned with what things look like. Okay.
But yeah, so I mean, look, he's got a roster. He's going to have the most talented roster on that side of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
And so there's no question there.
Speaking of that side of the Mississippi, Texas A&M wasn't the only school in the Lone Star State making moves.
No, Houston
pulled the plug. Texas El Paso pulled the plug.
Yeah, Dana Diamond gone.
He had not been there very long, had he?
I think like 3 or 4 years.
That's what I was thinking.
So yeah, I mean, look, there are a lot of jobs open. Which one is most surprising to you?
I'm honestly a little surprised MTSU is open.
That is a good, yeah. I would agree with that.
Just because I just don't know that I expected it to go this way at this point. To be honest, I need to. I retweeted the vacancies at some point, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I saw. Well, they have all changed so much. You just have to go to McMurphy's page and hope that you can find the most updated list. I would say here's the updated list. I think the most surprising is Houston to me. I thought they would give him a couple of years to recruit.
No, they've been talking. They've been talking for about 3 weeks about him being done.
Well, and I understand that, but I mean, you don't hire that guy to get you there and then not give him a chance to take you there. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
So I thought they'd give him a little more time. Best hire so far. Got to be Jeff Levy in State, right?
Is it though? Because
I think it's a home run.
Well, here's my thing. Is he going to try to bring Art Briles with him?
I don't know.
And if so, is Mississippi State going to allow it?
I mean, it is his father. I mean, I don't know how that works otherwise.
Well, I mean, surely it had to come up, right?
Yeah. He's not going to.
I mean, they have to.
That's for damn sure.
They have to have They have to know one way or the other. Either he is coming or he's not coming.
No, I mean he's going to. I mean, obviously he's family, but I mean you can't have him on the field. like you did at Baylor. You're going to have those conversations. But either way,
Boise, Duke, Houston, Indiana, Tom Allen. That was who it was that I was having that thought process about, because he had a
should have left.
Stellar like 1920.
It was the 20 year. It was 2020 during COVID.
Yeah. You
I
got to
agree.
go, man,
Go when you can.
because that's not sustainable at Indiana in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
But you think you reinvented the wheel, and all of a sudden you're out on your butt.
And getting paid not to coach.
Hey, which
$20 million.
the third highest buyout in college football coaching history, I think. Behind
Jimbo Fisher.
well, Jimbo and
someone
then
else.
and Malzahn, I believe.
Oh yeah, it was Malzahn. Sure was.
Middle, New Mexico, Oregon State, because that guy went to Michigan State.
Is that the best? Is that the best hire?
May very well be. And just for the fact that there haven't been a whole lot.
Yeah, I was trying to find the CBS did a grade, and I was trying to find that, but anyway, we are in bad shape, break wise. But it's been a weird day.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, should we take one now and then come back with Terry's top of the hour Titans update?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's take our break, come back. Who knows what we'll talk about on the other side? MON-STARS still to come. Some baseball conversations, all kinds of great stuff. So stick around. We'll go with Terry McCormick right after this on Main Street Sports Today. I'm Tennessee Bone and Joint. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Mockingbird Title and Escrow is an attorney-owned and operated full-service title company in Middle Tennessee. We get your deals closed without worry and fuss. We're a family business that offers the highest level of expertise in our industry when it comes to closing and funding your real estate transactions.
And it's a job I really love. I'm passionate about this. I'm enthusiastic about this. I like to think we're pretty well rounded and can deal with a wide range of needs and a wide range of clients.
Call 615-274-8698 today.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome to the 2023 Magical Holiday Home Tour, coming for one day only. Immerse yourself in the spirit of the season as you explore stunning displays, twinkling lights, and charming decorations. The general admission tour of area luxury homes, including historic Rosemont, and a special tinsel tour of the original Fairview Plantation Mansion. Come and experience the warmth of the holidays by touring spectacular luxury homes. It's an event you won't want to miss.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. Time now for your daily Titans report from Terry McCormick, and we're doing it after yet another win here in Nashville.
How are you
The back
guys?
half of the season is full of them.
Yes, yes. It is your daily Titans report. It's brought to you by Zen Sports, as always. Zen Sports, your daily Titans report. Guys, a win. I mean, like you said, ended a 3-game losing streak. Titans are 4-0 at Nissan Stadium this year. So another chance to do that again this week as the Indianapolis Colts come to town for a rematch. So some good news out of the Titans camp. I thought that Jalen Duncan performed pretty well in his first test as the offensive tackle. Now, granted, it's a pretty low bar with the Carolina Panthers, but you got to start somewhere. And honestly, he probably has been the best of the 4 different guys that have played there at left tackle thus far this year.
Now, has he been the best because he was the best, or has he been the best because he was going against Jacksonville?
Oh, you mean against
No,
Carolina?
Carolina, excuse me. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Maybe a little of both. Maybe a little of both, but
I mean, all he
nonetheless,
can play is who he's playing against.
Well,
but
and we've seen the other guys struggle against everybody.
Yeah,
there's some truth to that as well. You know, I think what you get with Jalen Duncan is a guy who's still pretty raw. He's a guy, I mean, he's a 6th round pick for a reason. But one of the things that the Titans really liked about him is that he has the athleticism. It's just a matter of teaching him to play at this level and getting him to finish. He was a guy that they said didn't always finish his blocks when he was at Maryland. And sometimes that can get you in trouble because, as you guys know, most pass rushers are pretty relentless and play until the echo of the whistle.
Well, speaking of 6th round offensive line picks, so is Trey Smith. So I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm not saying that Jalen Duncan's going to be as good as Trey Smith. I'm just saying that they were both 6th round picks. Let's not just throw all the 6th round picks out with the bathwater. Is all I'm saying. So Jalen Duncan, you know, if he continues at this level, we didn't hear his name much on Sunday, which is usually a good thing for offensive linemen.
right.
True. He had the one false start penalty was really the only negative. There was one time where he picked up the edge rusher and then a cornerback that was on a blitz kind of blew by him there. He didn't pick that one up. But then the next time the Panthers tried it, you saw him move away from the edge rusher and pick up the blitzing cornerback that came, and he did a nice job of holding him off. So some positives there for the Titans and for Jalen Duncan in his first start. Elsewhere, I thought that first half, the offense looked like played pretty well. Pretty solid, a 91-yard touchdown drive. Levis threw the ball around, mixed in a bunch of different receivers. I think on the touchdown drive, he was 7 for 7 and hit 5 different receivers on that series. So certainly good there. I thought the second half, he could have been better, missed a couple of throws. And then also, I thought the Titans let the air out of the ball a lot in the second half. They were playing with a 14-point lead, and I think that going against who they were going against, Mike Vrabel probably felt like his team could hang on and handle it without putting the ball in harm's way very, very much in the second half.
No, I think that's a great characterization. Look, I think to this point, Will Levis has played very well. Stats notwithstanding, 6 touchdowns. I know 4 of them were in one game. That I'm not worried about at all. I'm not worried about how many touchdowns he throws. If he throws some to DeAndre Hopkins, I'd be grateful. But other than that, like, it's not that big of a deal.
Hopkins is on your.
Yeah, he is. He's on the fantasy team. Okay. Aptly named over the Tannehill fantasy team. But yeah, I mean, that is the least of my worries with Will Levis. I just want him to not make mistakes mentally. And if that's the case, if he can do that, I'm in.
Yeah. I mean, I think when you look at, I think there's been like 9 or 10 rookie quarterbacks that have played this year. I mean, other than C.J. Stroud, who's leading the pack by a wide margin with the way he's playing, I think Levis has probably been the second best of all the rookie quarterbacks that have been out there. I can't think of another one that, has been better than him other than Stroud, obviously. I think, obviously, what we saw out of Bryce Young today, if I'm the Titans, I wouldn't swap Levis for Young if that opportunity presented itself. Would you, the way things look right now?
Not unless I got some short linemen.
Wow.
Gotta go.
Terry, talk about the chemistry that has developed between Levis and Hopkins.
Yeah, I think Hopkins is a guy. He said yesterday after the game, there was one play where he was running absolutely wide open, free down the middle of the field, but Levis, for whatever reason, the read took him to the right. It was the play where he threw wide of Kyle Phillips, and Phillips dove for it and couldn't get it. I think you probably remembered it in the second half. But Hopkins was running wide open and didn't see him. But I think Hopkins made a good point when we talked to him in the locker room yesterday. He said that he holds quarterbacks to a high standard, and said that that's a conversation that he'll have with Levis and kind of help guide him. Because there are a lot of kids, there are a lot of guys in this kid's ears right now. Whether it's the head coach, Mike Vrabel, whether it's the offensive coordinator, Tim Kelly, the quarterback's coach, Charles London, and then some of the veterans are taking it upon themselves, like DeAndre Hopkins, to try and coach this guy through and point out things that they see and point out things that they, know that he needs to know, that sort of thing. So that's a good thing. I think that chemistry is there. You got a strong arm quarterback. You've got a veteran receiver who, really knows his way around the league and knows how to set up defensive backs to win. And so I think the chemistry that they showed in that first game has carried over, maybe not shown as much because, they haven't thrown as many touchdown passes to Hopkins of late, but I still think it's there. And I think that it's going to continue to get better as Levis gets more experience.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I thought, Carolina's defense, the one thing that they have going for them is they have a pretty good defensive line, and I thought the offensive line held up fairly well. Obviously, Raidens had a few issues, but I mean, for the most part, not only did the line hold up well, but I thought Levis maneuvered the pocket well, and took what the defense gave him. So, look, I think obviously it's the 1-10 Panthers. It is what it is. It's you got to take that as it is. But being undefeated in Nashville is still a thing.
Is what it is. Well, they'll put it to the test again Sunday against the Colts. It'll be interesting to see, what they learned from that first meeting and if there's anything they can apply in this rematch on Sunday at Nissan Stadium. You talked about the offensive line. To me, what bears watching on this offensive line for the remainder of the year, because that you're probably going to have to draft at least 2 or 3 guys, and maybe probably pick up 4 to 5 new guys in the off season between starters and backups. I think Daniel Brunskill is probably a guy you might want to hang on to. Skoronski for sure is a guy that you want to build around. And then if Duncan can show you enough over these next 6 ball games where you don't have to spend your first round pick on a left tackle, that is a huge, huge bonus for this team as they try to rebuild. It's going to be interesting to watch that combination of rookies on the left side of Duncan and Skoronski at tackle and guard, and see how well they not only develop individually, but how well they start to play off of each other.
That's what I'm looking forward to as well, because I would love for those 2 guys to be the answer on the left side, because if that's the case, then it solves, like you have said all year long, it solves a ton of problems.
It really does.
And so,
and this team could use multiple problems being solved before the end of this season.
yeah, and this one being the biggest one on top of everything else, it completely changes your draft prospect. It completely changes the way that you have to draft. You don't have to go offensive line in the first round if you don't want to. And there's just so many things that you can do. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this plays out. And Terry, tell us about Zen Sports.
All right, gladly. Our partner Zen Sports is excited to launch their new introductory promotion available to all new customers in Tennessee. The No Danger First Wager. When you sign up for a Zen Sports account, you will receive up to a $1,000 No Danger First Wager. When you place your first bet on Zen Sports, you will be reimbursed for the amount of your bet if it loses, up to $1,000. Plus, Zen Sports has launched a new VIP program for the premier bettors of Tennessee. If you think you might qualify, listen up. Zen Sports is hosting a VIP tailgate and game experience this Sunday, December 3rd from 9 a.m. to noon for the Titans and Colts game. That means food catered by a renowned chef, unlimited booze, and a private room for bet placing and mingling with fellow VIPs. The VIP program is by invite only, so if you feel your Zen Sports play qualifies for VIP consideration, please check out the program details and apply at zensports.com/VIP. No other sportsbook will offer you a premier sports betting experience with a 24/7 top-tier customer support and bigger and better action than Zen Sports. So what are you waiting for? Get going and download their app at zensports.com today. Zen Sports, betting just got better. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and older and in Tennessee to bet.
Smiles. These are the healthy smiles of real Delta Dental members. Folks with access to the nation's largest network of dentists and low-deductible plans with 100% preventive care coverage, all backed by over 65 years of expertise. Go online or give us a call to learn about affordable individual plans that meet your needs. 1-855-844-0445.
It's time for Christmas for Kids November 20th at the Ryman Auditorium. This year's lineup includes Shenandoah, Phil Vassar, Chapel Hart, Michaela Lane, and Hunter Girl for over 40 years. Christmas for Kids has given the joy of Christmas to thousands of Middle Tennessee children. Christmas for Kids would like to thank their great sponsors. Tickets are on sale now. Visit Ryman.com to get your tickets. We will see you November 20th at the Ryman.
Welcome to the 2023 Magical Holiday Home Tour, coming for one day only. Immerse yourself in the spirit of the season as you explore stunning displays, twinkling lights, and charming decorations. The general admission tour of area luxury homes, including historic Rosemont and a special tinsel tour of the original Fairview Plantation Mansion. Come and experience the warmth of the holidays by touring spectacular luxury homes. It's an event you won't want to miss.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yow, Mo Patton, and it is, of course, time for the MON-STARS of the weekend. Mo, go ahead.
My first MON-STAR. Page junior linebacker Eric Hazard. 7 tackles, 3 for loss, with a couple of sacks, one of which set up a desperation field goal attempt by Southwind to tie the game, which was short.
So without that sack, might have been good. And who knows?
Mm-hmm. So, Page, with a 10-7 win over the Jaguars of Southwind, headed back to the Blue Cross Bowl in the Class 5A state championship game for the 3rd straight year. And Eric Hazard is a Mr. Football finalist. And so good luck to him.
Speaking of those, my first MON-STAR is running back from East Robertson, carrying his team all the way to Chattanooga with 224 yards on 30 carries and 3 touchdowns. Isaiah Groves of the Indians just absolutely making sure that his team was not going to be denied their first trip to the state title game. Well done.
You know, Chase Brooks kind of held out on us a little bit Thursday when we had him on Coach's Corner, because for all the kids that he talked about, he didn't mention his quarterback, who's also his son.
That's, you know.
Cade Brooks. I think he threw for a touchdown Friday night, among other things. And in David Wilson's article on the East Robertson York Institute game, Coach Dad talked about how proud he was of the way son quarterback played in a hostile environment on a big stage like that, state semifinals. So yeah, that's good.
Great job by East Robertson. Proud of that group. That's going to be a fun game.
Man, it's going to be a lot of fun games this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. Not looking forward to the weather because it's not going to be what we got 2 years ago down there. And I don't know where we're going to be working from.
Yeah, the forecast does not look good.
Especially by comparison.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Number two.
Number 2. 4th and 31. Down by 3.
No problem.
No problem. Just give the ball to Jalen. Let Jalen cook. 16 of 24, 259 with a pair of touchdowns, including the game winner. 18 carries for 107 yards in Alabama's 27-24 win.
Couple Alabama Jalen's with big performances on their team's last drives.
Yeah, it was almost a carbon copy. Huh?
Yeah, Jalen Hurts with the walk-off, 12-yard? I guess, I don't know if it was a scramble or if it was designed, but it was a touchdown run.
Well, he threw for one.
Yeah, but not the walk-off.
No, okay.
The walk-off was a run.
All right. Go ahead.
But yeah, dude, Jalen Milroe, I legitimately think that might have been the best pass in the college football season.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially under the circumstances, but where he had to put it,
drop
it in there right in front of the back line,
could not have been a better throw.
And it was a bullet.
Hey.
Arm talent is not a concern.
Nope. And at no point was Jalen Milroe's ability to hit the long ball ever a concern.
Mm-hmm.
It was everything else that limited him up until the second half of the Tennessee game, when he figured out that, hey, I'm pretty good at this read option thing. Let's do it.
Let me do that.
And Auburn did everything but win the football game. Unfortunate for them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to the Big Ten. He didn't lose. Illinois lost. Casey Washington hauled in 9 passes for 218 yards and 3 touchdowns, and Illinois lost to Northwestern. But
9 for how many?
9 for 218 and 3 touchdowns.
The quarterback didn't lose either.
No, he did not. It wasn't his fault. It was the defense who gave up 54 points in the loss to Northwestern. Illinois wide receiver Casey Washington, a MON-STAR.
All right. My third MON-STAR, and I've got 2 to pick. But I'm going to go with the mayor, Kevin Byard. 13 tackles, 9 solos in the Eagles' 37-34 win against Buffalo. Defensive oriented MON-STAR.
Yeah, you went defense. Good job. I'm going back to wide receivers, and this one is just because he's near and dear to my heart, and I felt like he deserved a little love. Was the top receiver in the game with 104 yards and a touchdown on 7 catches. Nico Collins of the Houston Texans.
It's an Alabama boy, right?
Out of Clay Chalkville High School, covered him in high school as well.
There you go.
Nico and
I'll tell you what, man, it's always special when you get to look up and see those guys that you covered in high school on the biggest stage in their chosen field. I mean, watching Ty Chandler in Minnesota a couple of weeks ago was, I guess it was what last Sunday night?
You can watch him tonight too if you want.
I think I will.
If I had gone with my gut, Ty Chandler would be 8 points from giving me a win. Instead, I played Tua over CJ Stroud and 24-point differential in favor of CJ Stroud yesterday on the whole fantasy team, and I'm down by 30.
See, you're one of those GMs that would be dusting off the old resume here.
Yeah, it's rough, dude. And it was so crazy because I played Ty Chandler and I thought I was taking out Bijan Robinson, not Brian Robinson of the
Redskins.
The Redskins, the Commanders. Look at us.
Right.
I thought it just says B Robinson. and they were back to back on the running back list. So I hit Brian thinking I was taking out Bijan. Well, thank God I did, because Bijan goes off. Brian only scores like 8 points.
But still, you're
But
done third.
that's what I was gonna do. I was about to take Bijan out. I just happened to hit the wrong dude. Like, that's my luck. That is how my world goes. I got to stop overthinking stuff, man.
Don't think you only hurt the team.
Anyway,
Yeah.
let's continue here. Let's go to Major League Baseball for just a moment, because again, college football and football in general is dominating this show. But before we get into college football rapid fire reactions and other things, former Smyrna great and Vanderbilt standout Sonny Gray is not an Atlanta Brave.
And that's a problem.
It's a disappointing start to the week. He is, however, a St. Louis Cardinal, and that's an infuriating start to the week, because not only is he not a Brave, he's now a mortal enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like that.
No.
I don't like seeing him on the other side of that.
It's a little bothersome.
3 for 75.
And that's tough to figure out, because I don't think those are prohibitive numbers for Atlanta.
I don't think so either.
So maybe he didn't want to play here.
Either he didn't want to play here, or maybe because again, we're in the Bermuda Triangle.
Well, he's already been to Cincinnati.
You're in the Bermuda Triangle, and Cincinnati was in the running, by the way. They were making another run at it. So if Cincinnati, Atlanta, and the Cardinals were in the running, and they all made similar offers, and he chose Cincinnati, and he chose St. Louis, that tells me that he might have been a Cardinals fan. I don't know why.
Who does that?
But he might have been. So I'm not or the Braves wouldn't go quite that high, or for 3 years, because he'd be 37 years old in 3 years.
It might have been the 3 years, not the 25 AAV.
Right. Or the reason they wouldn't go that high is because they're on somebody
got something else. Well, they miss Nola.
Miss Nola, Miss Gray.
And to me, there's nothing out there that's an obvious fit like you feel like those two guys were.
I just don't know. I mean, you look at the list of guys who are still available, I don't know who makes the most sense. I mean, Giolito's out there, but that doesn't make me, just super excited.
Not at all. Not at all.
Maybe they're going to extend Max Fried. I mean,
well, if they are, then I wish they would go ahead and do it, and so we can all take a deep breath.
I mean, Jordan Montgomery's out there, Blake Snell's out there, Corbin Burns is out there. I don't think Montgomery's an option. I don't think we can afford Snell. Then you've got guys like Martin Perez, Mike Clevenger, Michael Lorenzen, Rich Hill. Rich Hill is what, 47 years old?
At least.
Noah Syndergaard.
That's not going to happen.
Dallas Keuchel. Those are the guys that were.
Those
are all jokes.
Oh, okay.
These are jokes.
Thank you.
Because I mean, seriously, like that's
I'm like, he's still playing.
That's what it feels like. It's like, well, these must be the guys we're going after because, or maybe they're in on Tashimoto or whatever his name is. Maybe they're in on Ohtani.
Ohtani doesn't address your pitching this year.
Doesn't need to. You've got 3 starters. You've got Max, you've got Charlie, and you've got Strider at the top of the rotation.
And last week, after they signed Ronaldo Lopez,
they said he might.
He may figure into the starting rotation.
So I'm saying that you're not going to have Charlie after this year. You don't expect to have Max Fried, but if you have Ohtani, he steps into that rotation.
He certainly slots in at the middle of the rotation.
And then you go find, it's easier to find a 2 than a 1.
Don't you know the Major League Baseball community would blow up if Atlanta signs Ohtani?
Absolutely. And I'd be here for it because I am, in fact, Captain Chaos.
I'm most definitely here for it. That would be fun.
I'd love to see it.
Give me all of that.
Give me all of that. So, I mean, maybe that's because here's the thing. We don't know. We know nothing because Alex Anthopoulos is so good at keeping everything hush hush.
And anybody that says they know anything is lying.
And here's the thing is near the top of the list of Ohtani's requests was
go somewhere where you can win.
Well, keep it hush hush. And there were 2 reports over the weekend that Ohtani was close to signing. And so I'm just saying, if that got out, I would be surprised. Just unfortunate.
Yeah,
because I really wanted to see Sonny Gray.
I would like to have seen that, but no. Like you said, it's unfortunate.
It is. Let's talk college football. We'll take a break. When we come back, CFB on the other side. Stick around on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. The Monday Mirror continues after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mockingbird Title and Escrow is an attorney-owned and operated full-service title company in Middle Tennessee. We get your deals closed without worry and fuss. We're a family business that offers the highest level of expertise in our industry when it comes to closing and funding your real estate transactions.
And it's a job I really love. I'm passionate about this. I'm enthusiastic about this. I like to think we're pretty well-rounded and can deal with a wide range of needs and a wide range of clients.
Call 615-274-8698 today.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
In where?
Welcome back in. Main Street Sports Today is presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Maurice Patton. It is rapid fire reaction time here as we continue on this Monday Mirror, and we will get into it in just a second. I sent you a link or put a link in that noted all of the.
This Barrett Salee piece.
It's it's the coaching carousel. Who's in, who's out, and also extensions or retentions, not just extensions. Sam Pittman retained. Dave Aranda retained.
David Braun apparently retained.
Well, I guess technically that's a hiring.
Yeah, I guess because he was interim.
Technically, but
CBS Sports is grading Jeff Levy to Mississippi State a C.
That's absurd. You know what is did
Levy has been successful as an offensive coordinator at Ole Miss, UCF, and Oklahoma. However, finding success in the new look SEC that includes Texas and Oklahoma will be almost impossible for a first-year coach at a program that is constantly fighting an uphill battle like Mississippi State. Grade C. And
So
based
again-
on that rationale, I don't necessarily disagree. But
read the
could
last
Mississippi State get an established coach?
Read the last sentence again. Impossible for a first-year coach at a program that is constantly fighting an uphill battle like Mississippi State. Getting Jeff Levy is an absolute home run for them.
It's a great offensive coordinator.
Dan Mullen would have been the only better hire.
Okay, so maybe it's more reflective of the program than the hire.
Well, that's not what they're supposed to be grading. Then.
They're supposed to
It's
be
a
grading
poor
the hire.
grade
Yeah.
because that's not what you're grading. For Mississippi State, Jeff Levy's a great hire. We said they had to go offense. They went and got probably one of the best offensive coordinators in the country.
Do you not think they could have gotten an established head coach? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they were considering. I just have the SEC is a tough place to be on training wheels, man.
It's a tough place to be on training wheels, but it's also a really tough sell when you're Mississippi State.
To somebody who's riding
who's
on
an
their own
established head coach
at Mississippi State.
I mean, there are a couple of guys at the G5 level. Jerry Kill.
That's a different set of issues right there, probably, because he's an older guy and he's got health issues.
Yeah, you just went through that.
Inadvertently, but yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, he didn't have health issues when they hired him, but Jeff Traylor. But Traylor's holding out. I think Traylor's going to Houston.
Why?
It's the Big 12.
It is the Big 12,
and
but
it's an Oklahoma, Texas less Big 12.
Yeah, I feel like he's bigger than Houston.
Could be. But why not go win the Big 12 a bunch of times and
then go and
then
make
go,
a bunch of money?
Yeah.
And
then you can go
to your point, if you go anywhere else in Texas other than Houston, you're in the SEC. I mean, Texas and Texas A&M. Because if you're from East Texas, are you going to Texas Tech?
No.
I'm going to Baylor.
They have a coach.
Well, for now.
For at least another year.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, I think there's a lot that goes into that. I think you have to look at, and you have to look at this with one eye on Billy Napier. If this dude can't make a bowl at Florida in this SEC, what's it going to be like in the new SEC? He's at Florida in the second highest level of talent in the country.
And going 5-7.
And going 5-7. Why would I go to Mississippi State in a new iteration of the SEC?
Yeah, with Texas and Oklahoma coming.
No, thank you.
Divisions or not.
Divisions or not. So again,
I'm still going to have to play somebody.
I think Jeff Levy may be the next Chad Morris. He might be.
I don't think that's what Mississippi State's signing up for, but
he could be.
He absolutely could be.
But he could also be the next Dan Mullen.
And jump to Florida.
Maybe. Wouldn't you? I mean, he could be. He could be either one of those guys. We don't know. Bobby Petrino is still available.
Yeah.
Let's go into some of the things that happened over the weekend. The Iron Bowl.
We already talked about it a little bit.
You mentioned it, but 2021, Auburn should have won the game. Bryce Young drives them 90-something yards for a touchdown, wins the game. Did that break the Jordan-Hare curse?
Quite possibly. But I mean, if you're Auburn fans, you really kind of feel like Charlie Brown right now.
Yeah. I mean, okay. Did Alabama get almost screwed by officiating?
I didn't get to see enough of the game to know what you're referring to.
Well, let's talk about on the final drive.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the snap that went past Milroe to the 26?
Mm-mm.
Second and goal at the
7.
Mm-hmm. Center snaps it, goes all the way to the 26 where Milroe falls on it.
Mm-hmm.
Go back and watch that. The safety claps.
And he snapped it.
Ooh. Very next play, obviously, Milroe goes past the line, throws an incomplete pass, 5-yard penalty, loss it down, 4th and 31, and then, of course.
He was just setting it up.
Now.
Setting it up. Flair for the dramatic.
I know you've seen, I know you have to have seen the offsides call.
No.
You've not seen this? Mm-hmm. It's all, again, I guess I follow a bunch of people from Alabama. But Auburn has a tight end and a wing back on the left of the formation. They send a guy in motion across the quarterback's face. Quarterback claps. Tight end and wing back shift. Soon as he claps, they shift.
He jumps.
Defense jumps. They snap it. 3 guys in motion. 3 guys are in motion at the time of the snap. They let the play out. Incomplete pass down the sideline. Offsides on Alabama. 5-yard penalty.
Not too many men in motion.
Not offsides and illegal shift.
Well,
which is what it should have been.
Can you call both?
Yes. I mean, they're both pre-snap penalties.
So they would have offset and replayed it down. Yeah.
Correct. So I'm just saying that maybe Alabama was on the now again, they did almost decapitate a dude with a face mask penalty that wasn't called. That actually ended up as a penalty on Auburn. It was an illegal block on the play that Auburn had to deal with. So I mean, officiating in the SEC is bad.
Officiating everywhere is bad.
Yes, it is. From top to bottom, it's just bad. So that being said, Alabama overcomes it, keeps chaos in play.
Have you seen this Pat 40 article?
No.
Sports Illustrated?
I don't read 40 very often.
Well, you may want to read him this time.
If it's about chaos, on next Sunday, I'm in.
It's absolutely about chaos on next Sunday. Hang on.
Well, I'm here for it. So, anyway,
Yeah. Come on.
I've got it here.
College football playoff scenarios.
And they're all headaches.
Every one of them.
I mean,
he's got 6 different scenarios, and they are in varying degrees of, oh my God.
I think the one that makes me the most, that may be the most hilarious is
everybody loses.
Everybody loses. That's the one that I'm just like, wait a minute. That's way more fun than everybody winning.
All 4 undefeated teams lose. Georgia to Alabama, Michigan to Iowa. Work with the dash here. That one's the least likely.
Yeah.
Washington to Oregon, Florida State to Louisville. Throw in a Texas loss to Oklahoma State. Who gets in?
The good thing is, and this is what I quote tweeted Barrett Sully, who had the same scenario. There's no wrong answer in that situation.
Tell that to the teams that get left out.
Well, but I mean, but everybody is like, well, you lost. You know, there's not really a wrong answer per se, but everybody winning, there's definitely going to be
a wrong answer.
Hey, we did
everything we could do.
We did all of this. Wait a minute. We just beat the #1 team in the country, and we're the SEC champion winners of the last 4 national titles, and we're out. Or if you're Texas, we beat the team that beat #1 on the road by double digits, and we're out.
I don't know that Alabama can get in without Texas getting in. Whether they beat Georgia or not.
That's the simple answer.
Because, I mean,
they've got to.
Again, at some point, head-to-head has to mean something. Has to. Or else, why are we playing them?
Exactly. And so, you know,
why are we going to Tuscaloosa, running the risk of losing?
Well,
if we're not going to get rewarded for a win.
Here's the thing: going forward, it doesn't matter. Right. This is the last year that it matters.
There is that.
But
still, I mean, there's going to be opportunities
because
there's going to be group of 5s in particular that are going to have to weigh that risk reward thing.
Yeah,
and
I mean, they kind of have to play at least somebody from the Power 5.
But when they go and they do pull off that win, and they still get left out because somebody else went undefeated.
It's sure.
I mean, it's not going to clear it up.
No, but yeah, I think that there's no wrong answer
if everybody loses.
If everybody loses, including Ohio State getting it.
I don't know about that one.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Georgia, their resume is not great. Ole Miss lost to the only 2 good teams that played. Missouri's pretty good. They're not great. Certainly the Kansas State win doesn't help them as much as it did last week.
Right.
After they lost to Iowa State. So, I mean, there's just a lot of things that, you know, you go, they won the last 2 national titles, though, and they lost close to Alabama, maybe. Maybe it's a close game. Do you put them both in? You can't, because if Washington loses to Oregon, Oregon's got to get in. But you can't put it in Texas because they got 2 losses and they're not a conference champion. So that clears up your Alabama issue. Alabama can get in without Texas if Texas loses. Because Texas had 2 losses.
No.
That's the way they get in without Texas getting in. But that's it. The committee has to hope one of those 2 lose. One of those 2 have to lose. And if they do,
it clears up a lot.
It clears up almost everything. Unless Florida State loses. Which I think is a possibility.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a probability.
Yeah, I mean, Louisville losing to Kentucky gives you
As
a
I
little
said-
bit more confidence in Florida State.
It does.
Yeah.
And look, after watching that game in the second half, I mean, it took Tate Rodemaker a little bit of time to get used to the swamp. Understandable.
Mhm.
First start since 2020, and it's in the swamp. Yeah,
Welcome back.
it's going to take a little time to acclimate. He played really well, and they've got a great running game.
Oh yeah, that Trey Benson,
Dude's legit.
He's legit. He's underrated. Enough people aren't talking about him.
That was the first Florida State game that I had watched in almost its entirety since week 0.
I've watched bits and pieces of Florida State all season because I really enjoy watching Jordan Travis and, like I said, Trey Benson. He's a real deal.
But I watched it almost in its entirety.
Mm-hmm.
They're a good football team. They're a football team. I think they would probably get beat by Georgia, but I think they could compete with Michigan. I think they could compete with Washington and Oregon. Oregon probably outscores them. But
just the fact that we're discussing Florida State in that realm is a tribute to what Mike Norvell's been able
Got to
to do.
give him credit. Got to give him credit. You absolutely have to give him credit. It's been incredible what he's done. And so I just feel like this is this is going to be the most exciting week of college football. And this will be the last time that conference championship games matter to this degree.
Right.
They'll obviously matter going forward because you'll have 4 Power 4 conferences and 4 buys, which will be usually.
So
your
you'll be
auto.
playing for those.
You're
Yeah.
basically playing for a bye at that point. But then again, as I've said so many times, teams 6, 7, and 8 just got that bye. That's their bye. There's just a week earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And, is it really that big of a deal? So it is an exciting week. And again, we're way off target. But Florida State and Clemson did survive against bad SEC teams. Clemson 16-7 winners over South Carolina, a weird game, but a win nonetheless for Dabo Swinney. And Georgia throws an interception in the fourth quarter. Georgia Tech goes down and scores, giving themselves an opportunity, man. Got to be impressed with what Brent Key has done.
Well, one of the biggest things that Brent Key has done is he has, or someone has introduced him and the offensive coaching staff to Dante Smith.
They had a great, he had a great year. Proud of that kid and his resiliency to stick around at Georgia Tech through a lot.
He was committed to being there, obviously.
He was.
He certainly had his opportunities to do something else.
And that coaching staff, led by Brent Key, is. But I really feel like they're going to make Georgia Tech relevant again, sooner than later.
I'm not sure they haven't already.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're bowl eligible, right?
They are. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we go west and north. The game. We'll talk about it on the other side. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Mockingbird Title and Escrow is an attorney-owned and operated full-service title company in Middle Tennessee. We get your deals closed without worry and fuss. We're a family business that offers the highest level of expertise in our industry when it comes to closing and funding your real estate transactions.
And it's a job I really love. I'm passionate about this. I'm enthusiastic about this. I like to think we're pretty well rounded and can deal with a wide range of needs and a wide range of clients.
Call 615-274-8698 today.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
All right, welcome back in. It is Rapid Fire Reaction here on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Final segment. Let's talk about the game, because I don't know if you saw the beginning of that or heard the beginning. Gus Johnson claiming it as the greatest rivalry in sports.
In sports.
In sports.
Not in college football.
Where it's still not, but
exactly.
It's at least debatable at that point.
Well, Gus is an acquired taste.
He's my
A lot
favorite.
of people have not acquired him.
He's my number one play-by-play guy, but you can't say that.
But I mean, he's given to overstatement.
He is given. Someone said, I don't like his play-by-play is that every play feels like it's the biggest play of the game, but he's nothing if not entertaining.
I think that's kind of
just
what he's supposed to do, or what he feels like he's supposed to do. I mean, he wants you to be on the edge of your seat for every play.
For every play.
And I don't necessarily have an issue.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, he's entertaining. There are some guys out there who or some play-by-play folks who just tell you what happened, and that's it.
And rely on you to.
There are Nestlers out there, and Nestlers are okay. There's nothing wrong with Brad Nessler. There's nothing wrong with Gus Johnson.
Right. I mean,
until he says that Michigan Ohio State's the greatest rivalry
in sports.
Yeah. Here's my thing about that, and this is as far as I'm going to go.
I smell a top five, by the way.
So, very simply, if your rivalry allows you to go in your separate directions at the end of the rivalry, and you don't have to live with those people, it cannot be the greatest rivalry in sports. If you, an Ohio State fan, can just go to Ohio State or go to your house in Ohio, and Michigan fans can go to their house in Michigan, and I don't have to see you all the time, then it can't be the best rivalry. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Alabama, Auburn, these people live with each other on a daily basis. They have to deal with somebody wearing that goofy hat with the A and the mullet on it every day. Every Auburn fan all week long will have to see that every day. Do you know what Ohio State fans don't have to deal with today? Seeing
blocking them
anywhere.
So then what you're saying is Yankees Red Sox is not a rivalry.
I'm not saying. I'm saying it can't be the best rivalry in sports. I think it's a great rivalry. I don't think it beats Duke, North Carolina. It just doesn't.
That's fair.
Because it's 365.
The thing about it is, I think when some people talk about rivalries, they're only talking about the game and the players and not necessarily considering the fan bases. I think you're making an excellent point in terms of that.
There are two options here to absolutely. I agree with that.
So,
and yes, I think the game plays an important role in college football. I think nationally people realize it as a big game, as a big rivalry, no matter whether the teams are good or bad.
Right.
And I agree with that, but I think that's the same for the Iron Bowl then it's the same for Florida State,
USC, UCLA.
USC, UCLA. I mean,
To,
there's
to the degree that any of those people get
they don't care.
fired up about anything.
Yeah. So, but I think that's the thing is, to me, you have to have a level of hatred for the other guy, and it's a lot easier to hate somebody from another state
Because you don't have to see them.
because you don't have to see them. And so, in my opinion, in-state rivalries are always going to be put a little bit higher on a pedestal
Then
than
border
rivalries.
Mhm. That school up north.
That being
team
said,
up north. I'm sorry.
impressive job by Michigan. And at this point, I think we got to
Let it go.
let it go.
Harbaugh's suspension is done now, right?
Done.
So he can coach in whatever postseason activity they have. Tell me this: the interim guy. What has he done for himself?
You got to think that he has put himself in a position to potentially be a head coach somewhere. Now, I don't know where. I don't know what kind of job he would want. But you certainly got to think this guy just stepped in and won 3 ball games.
Well, 4.
Was he the coach at one of the 4 or one of the 3?
The
early?
last
Okay.
of the 3 or 4 early. 37 years old, University of Oklahoma graduate, Sharon Moore.
Is he an offensive coordinator?
I believe so. Hang on a second.
Oklahoma needs one.
When mama calls, you answer, right?
Yes.
Yes. Offensive line coach, offensive coordinator, acting head coach, finalist for the Broyles Award as of an hour ago.
Yeah.
So,
Well, can he really be the assistant coach of the year when he won 4 ball games as a head coach?
Good question.
I mean, at what point are you no longer an assistant?
When you start paying me like a head coach,
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, crap. If he don't win it, they need to stop giving it. Seriously. He just beat Ohio State. He won a top 5 ball game.
After beating Penn State and Maryland.
What are we doing here? 2 top 10 wins.
Mm-hmm. So
don't give it if he's not the guy. Don't
just stop.
Just stop.
Just stop.
Did you happen to see the Apple Cup?
Mm-mm.
Man, field goal to win it. They go for it on 4th and 3 from their own 25. Does Washington? They go with a reverse
on 4th and 3.
On 4th and 3, give it to the guy coming across, and he gets not first down and much more. Gets to the positive side of the 50. They kick a field goal and win it. But man, Washington has, as I've said, they've not looked great in their wins, but they just keep winning.
Well, Georgia 2.0.
Sure.
I mean, that's been a lot of them as well.
Same with Iowa, who had to kick a game winner. And yeah, so we've got a lot more to continue talking about. We're going to have to do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
We do have Chip Walters. We'll talk more, of course, by MTSU then. But we coaching carousel continues. More college football, AP polls, college football playoffs tomorrow. So all of that will come back on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We'll see you then.